Hey everybody, and welcome to Meet the Team, series put on by Drive Planning to introduce you to some of our consultants. And I have the pleasure and the honor today of speaking with none other than the founder and CEO of Drive Planning, Mr. Todd Burkhalter. Todd, how are you today?
Excellent, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you putting this together.
Of course. It's a chance for not only our members, but people that are looking at Drive Planning as a potential option to get to know the human element of what drives Drive Planning to really great success. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Tell the people about yourself. What's going on with you? Who is Todd Burkhalter?
Oh man, great question. I was introduced into this business 23 years ago, and coming from a sports background like I did, played baseball in college.
Great.
Was most average player you could ever come across.
Hey, you played in college though.
Well, yeah, so it was maybe better than most, but nevertheless, I love business now. And I compete in it much like I did kind of back in the day of playing baseball. I was a catcher, and so catchers notoriously have to work really hard. And I kind of carried that forward into what we do now, and just try to outwork most people and outthink most people. And we've put together something really good here that I'm proud of.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, catchers are very familiar with getting run into, getting bruises and beat up, and
knocked over, get up, knocked over, get up.
Always. Yeah, that's excellent. And just speaking from personal experience, you may have been an average baseball player, but you sure as heck are not an average CEO. I'll tell you that. We're headquartered out of Atlanta, but tell the people where you working, what area of town do you?
Yeah, so I primarily, Anthony, as you know, I primarily work out of Midtown. So a couple years ago, 2.5 years ago, my wife and I, we downsized into Midtown. The kids are kind of out of the nest, and so we love it. It's a really radically different lifestyle than the suburbs that we had been a part of.
Yeah.
And, that spawned me to open this office here in Midtown, and it's kind of cool. We're right across, adjacent to the Fox Theater, for those in Atlanta that know that landmark. Probably 3 times a week, or probably two times a week, I'll make it up to either Johns Creek, Sandy Springs, or one of our newest locations at a beautiful place called the Avalon. If you hadn't ever been to the Avalon,
great.
Off the chain. It's crazy, crazy great. And so, excuse me, we got a young lady working out of there that's going to be a rock star, and so
that's wonderful.
See her pretty frequently.
Yeah, we've got the interview lined up with her. I'm really excited for that one as well. So that's great. You kind of touched on it a little bit. Why the financial service industry? We'll dive into the Drive Planning aspect of things, but why this line of work for you? Like, what kind of led you to this point? Why did you pick it?
Yeah, so interesting enough, we had a family friend back when I was a little kid, and for no better reason, I really just liked the way he rolled. Everybody in town liked the guy. He always wore great suits and drove nice cars, and he was at all he was at all the kids' ball games, as was my dad. He was a family friend, and my dad owned his own company all of my life, and that entrepreneurial spirit, that owning your own business, controlling your time, probably was the biggest element of that whole thing that I really appreciated, because I've told this story a number of times that my dad, mom and dad, they showed up for everything. They were always present, and still are. And but I can remember times us playing baseball in college. We'd be in like North Alabama on a Wednesday morning. I wouldn't even have talked to him about we had a game, and I'd be down the bullpen getting ready, and somebody'd say, "Hey, I think your dad's here." I'd be like, "No way!" Like, A, why is he not at work? It's cool though that he drove 3.5, 4 hours just to maybe see me play, maybe not. And, so I loved the idea of being an entrepreneur, owning your own business, and being in control of your time and your freedom.
That's so great. That's such a beautiful message. That's such a good desire, and I think a lot of people, whether they know it or not, that's what they're always pursuing in life. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter what they do for a living. So,
Sure.
quickly, like with drive planning, and again, we'll get into some of the specifics. But who do you like to connect with? I mean, you said this is very entrepreneurial. Who is, I don't know, for lack of a better term, what's that?
Yeah, I was just saying, I like to connect with those people. Entrepreneurs, people that are investors, that are business people. They tend to make better decisions, or at least make quicker decisions. Maybe it's not always better. But I love people who are coachable. Again, maybe it comes from being the sports guy, in the past or not. I don't know. But I like people who are consistent, lifelong learners, and people that are open to new ideas, because what we do isn't taught in Money Magazine. It's not taught by, a ton of people out there. And so it takes a little bit of an open mind to say, maybe a humble nature too, to sit back and go, okay, maybe I can learn something here, regardless of what age you're at. So,
my favorite line is, "Oh yeah, my undergrad's in finance, and I got an MBA." It's like, great. So sit down and have a chat.
Let me teach you about some.
Let's talk about some stuff you professors didn't want to talk about. You are drive planning. You are the creator, and this is your baby. But do you adhere to a slogan that kind of deepens your perspective on what drive planning does, or some kind of motto?
I'll say this for me personally. In our early business life, a lot of people know the name Zig Ziglar. He was one of the great sales guys, and he kind of crossed all genres of sales. But this phrase has always stuck with me of, if you can help enough people get what they want, you can have anything you want. And I love that attitude. It fits right in with where we're at and what we do, is because I believe that we're here to serve others.
Yeah,
as a Christian, I totally believe that we are born to serve. And so we've always that's always been a little bit of a driving force, and it's always kind of served us pretty well. We've always ate and lived indoors, and good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good.
Here lately, though, I will tell you, as you and I have discussed before, we follow a guy named Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
He rubs people a little bit the wrong way. Frankly, probably did me at one point.
Me too.
But he has a phrase that I love that it kind of resonates with me a lot right now in the moment of be obsessed or be average. I love people who go all in towards whatever it is that they're creating, whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
And I kind of adhere to that. And because if you're not obsessed with it and you don't believe it, ain't nobody else going to be obsessed with it or believe it either.
Yeah.
So certainly from a leadership perspective here, I think that's important. But also just as a business person, I think you got to be bought in and just go all into what it is you're doing. The wealthiest people in the world that I ever come across, they have a thing, and everybody can label it in one time. Like, that's his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a good point too. The word obsession has such a negative connotation. All revenue starts with marketing, right? The word obsession has such a negative connotation because it's usually associated to a W-2 position where, oh, that guy's a workaholic or that gal's a workaholic, and they just grind and they never have time for their families. But when you're obsessed about your creation, your own thing, your avenue of doing something, I think that obsession will automatically transfer to success.
And if I can throw in there, and if you tie it back to, we're serving other people. And one of the things that drives me the most is when I see other people succeed. And when I see folks within our organization, when they get a big old paycheck, or when I see our clients win. Early on in my business life, it was the dad of one of our just really close friends. They had just done a little bit of business. We were young. We were 20-something years old, didn't have any money, and neither did they. but so maybe that's why we like hanging out together. But they said, hey, my dad just inherited some money, and I went, met, and we invested it. It just went really, really well. It was everything went perfectly and went great. And it was years later that my friends told me, they said, man, my dad loves you. He talks about you more than he talks about us. And, and so to hear your friends kind of say that and know that you've impacted somebody like that, what a blessing. What a huge thing.
It's just changing somebody. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, something that I've run into, being down here at the St. Petersburg, Tampa area, there's, one of the Florida hotbeds of financial planning, I guess, one of the birthplaces in Florida around here. You're in the financial planning business. Isn't everyone nowadays? But, when you hear that as the creator of Drive Planning, what is it to you that makes Drive Planning different from, I guess, all the rest?
No, yeah. I mean, to me, it's radically different. I think the word radically, maybe I shouldn't use that word because
I would use that word.
Yeah, it freaks people out a little bit. But, our unbundled structure a little bit, which gives us freedom and latitude to serve clients better than we ever have before. I spent a majority of my career in a very traditional staid environment of financial services. And we could offer what our broker dealer, what somebody up in the higher up offices told us we could offer. And, it always was uncomfortable to me, but I didn't know a better way.
Yeah.
And it was the way. And there's a lot of people that are still out there that, fall under the moniker of financial guy, financial services girl, whatever it is. And they don't know a different way. And so I think we've really dissected this thing and created it. It's ever evolving. It's not something that I don't think is going to be ever finished. But our ability to serve people, however it is, whatever is the appropriate thing, man, to me, it's a total game changer as to how we interact with people and the value that we bring.
Yeah, I completely. I mean, you answered my next question too. Is like, why did you elect to go that way? And it comes back to what you've been saying from the get go, and that's serving your clients. That's serving the people that we engage with and that engage with us. And
I mean, it's
to be able to offer stock market.
A better way to say it is the right thing to do.
Oh, gosh, that's such a good way to say that. Yeah, when you can offer Wall Street and real estate opportunities not tied to somebody else's control, and you can also offer different private company engagements. It's just such a more well-rounded, versatile structure on how to just create something bigger for somebody. So I absolutely love it. So, we talked about who you like to engage with as members of Drive Planning, but, we are in the field of expansion always. We're spreading the Drive Planning message. Who is the ideal consultant to engage with Drive Planning, to work with the Drive Planning umbrella?
Probably goes back to the same, maybe a little bit of the same stuff that I was saying about the actual who's a good client. Somebody that's entrepreneurial, that wants to own their own business, that is looking for a new way, that maybe feels a little bit frustrated where they are, and a little bit, I don't know if this is even a good word, hamstrung, just kind of tied up and a little bit bundled. And so, to me, that person, you just feel like the shackles have come off of you when you engage with us. And so that would be a great place to start. But I think if there's people out there that are in a career that they don't see going in the right way,
sure,
for whatever reason that is, they don't see it going in the right direction because of time, maybe because of money. Our career gives people those things. We touched on this a second ago, a little earlier. We combine two things that most people don't typically have together: time freedom and money freedom.
It's beautiful.
Generally speaking, if you have a ton of free time, not many people pay you for that. And they certainly don't pay you generally well for that. And so, but if you have a lot of money, that oftentimes indicates that you got to fly all over the country, you got quotas to meet, stress and pressure that you're under, and it can crush a family life. And so to me, our world is a little bit different than most. And giving people that entrepreneurial flair, but yet in a very environment that has a lot of latitude and freedom and a lot of resources. And so, you know, one of the hardest things when you're starting out, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you want to change career paths, is how do I brand myself? How do I market? You know, there's so many moving parts that there's so much technology that has to be purchased. There's so much
office space, people to talk to. Yeah.
So much stuff.
Cups with straws.
Websites and you know, good websites.
So
there's so much to it, and we've put the context into place for somebody just to jump right in and kind of get started.
Of course. Yeah, that's you know, and for those of you who don't know, Todd is a mentor of mine, probably my closest advisor of mine, and studying under his tutelage, it was for the first time having the ability to feel the full benefit of all the hard work that you put in is something very, very special. You can work really hard at a job that you really like and never truly feel too much upside. Job, the more you put in, the more you will get out. I mean, for the most part, obviously you got to work efficiently, but you know, the more effort you put in, the more effort that you will get out. So, and I want to leave the people with this, Todd. One last question for those people that are on the fence of engaging with us, or maybe considering weighing drive planning versus you know, a traditional financial planning model. What would be what would you say to that person to say, listen, we are going to be the better path forward for a lifetime? What would you say to that person?
You know, I think you got to look at what the deliverables are for a client. And I think anytime you start taking action, clarity tends to follow.
Absolutely.
Take the first step, the next one becomes more clear. And so our model, our financial model, the PS&G model or the PIM, the personal economic model that we use to work with our clients, I think those things bring clarity to people. And so if you flip the switch here a little bit and you look at what are the alternatives, what else could you do? You go out to another financial planner and he's going to give you a very fancy leather-bound portfolio with some to-dos, send you on your way, and what do you have? You know, you have some things you got to figure out. And with our team, you got a little over 300 years or so of collective experience. Our goal is to give you action items every 90 days. Because the one thing that I've realized being as far along in business that I am is when you're constantly making progress, you know, when you're consistent wins.
Absolutely.
You feel like you're moving forward, you know, and you're making progress towards whatever the goal is. And that's what keeps people on path. So when you just have this, here, go do this, and there's this vision that's way out there, maybe it's something success, or maybe you've tried to define what you think the retirement looks like. When it's so far off, you can veer off course, you get frustrated. And our consistency, the approach that we take of delivering new action items every 90 days, I think is what helps set us apart. That didn't even account for going into the idea of statement wealth versus contractual wealth.
We could talk all day long.
Yeah, we could take another hour talking about that. That idea of creating certainty, man, if people really bake that out, that's what people want, certainty.
Yeah.
And so I think those are
risk, right?
Yeah, most people don't even understand the risk that they have. And so I think those few things together are just, you really look at us, you know, it seems obvious to me.
Yeah.
Maybe we're biased. You know?
Yeah, right. Well, Todd, it's been excellent. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview and for the people to get to know you. But let's leave some of your contact information. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to get a sit down or a phone call or a meeting with you?
Yeah, great question. You can find Drive Planning on almost any media that's out there. Social media, the links, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram are our main platforms. Our website is driveplanning.com. reach out to our member services team at memberservices@driveplanning.com. Those are the easiest ways to get in touch with us. But you can also just Google Todd Burkhalter. There's let me take a second to promote my blog. I think
Please do.
I love it. I enjoy it. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but I do. But it's a great place to share ideas and talk. And so there's a few hundred articles there that you ought to check out at toddburkhalter.com. That's a great resource that I think I've just kind of developed over the years. That's also a great spot. So, all those places.
Yeah, I can attest to the blog. It's oh man, talk about going back to stuff that you don't get taught in school, stuff that that mainstream media is not going to teach you. ToddBurkhalter.com. Really do check that one out. And as well, DrivePlanning.com is a great resource, and you can sync up with any number of our member services teams through that website. So, thanks again, and until next time, and you take care of yourself. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate you putting this together. Thank you.
Of course, this was Meet the Team series with Drive Planning. Till next time, everybody, take care.